All right, welcome back, Vulcan Deckmasters. We did take a very short break between the match between Strife Crow, Kibler, and Trump versus Orange. We're gonna move on to the match very soon. Now, the both players are ready. Trump brought Warlock, Warrior, and Hunter. His Warrior is banned. Orange brought Druid, Hunter, Warrior, and his Druid was banned. So both players are playing a Hunter, and Trump has Warlock, where Orange has a Warrior.
Yep, Trump sitting at 1-1 right now. Dude's been in the esports game for a long time, and I got to say the Harudra pickup against him on Monday, I think it was a bit of a surprise for me. You know, Trump's been a cool customer. It's been playing pretty decently lately, and Harudra coming in out of nowhere. But hey, that's what it is when you got these play-in situations. You got your invited guys, and you've got some real possible spoilers. One, Surrender, that we'll get to talk about a little bit on Monday because he doesn't have any games today, and I desperately want to talk about Surrender, but. Yeah, so Trump, in pretty good shape so far. He picked one back up, 0-1 right now for Orange. We'll see what he can do.
So Trump versus Orange, I don't think I've ever seen those two players face off against each other. If I recall, in the Kingwin Pro League, they weren't in the same group. So I don't know if they've ever played against one another. I just know that Trump, like I have to give it to him over the past few months, has really stepped up his constructed game. Like he used to be considered an arena player primarily, but his constructed play has just improved drastically. And he gets invites to tournaments now, and he actually competes with a lot of the people out there. So it's not just a fluke. And he's been doing so well. It's surprising to see him just step it up completely. He hits for high legend every season consistently with metagame decks. It's very good at tweaking archetypes. He favors a control playstyle a lot. That's still one of the predictabilities of Trump. So you will expect him to play Paladin, Warlock, Warrior in his lineup, at least two of those three very often.
Yeah, and not to take anything at all, I got to say, away from Orange for playing for Team Archon. The guy ground his way into this one, I believe. He played in from the open qualifier to get his way here. I mean, obviously, sitting at 0-1 right now, hopefully he's shaking off those nerves. But he was number one, I want to say, at Seat Story Cup a while back, and one of the ESL things.
Yeah, I mean, Orange beat his team captain in, I believe it was an SSC. He actually beat a Moz in the finals. So, I mean, that was... After that, he got picked up, which, funny enough, he wasn't in line for any team, and then he won that tournament, got picked up, and then won ESL, the Legendary Series, a little later. And I think he participated in Pinnacle, but didn't do that amazing, if I recall. Anyway, it was just a crazy thing. Orange is, like... His playstyle, which is funny because in Kingwin Pro League, he was very inconsistent. You know, from week to week, you'd see him play, and you'd wonder if it was the same guy. But when he plays well and he's in the zone, it's really noticeable. You can just see that his plays are nearly flawless.
Absolutely. And I got to say, one of those things, man, I respect the grinders. I respect the guys that are going to work their way in. He'll get to that point where he's getting the invites for sure. But you also got to respect that there is an open bracket running. There have been a lot of invitationals lately, and it's just nice to see opening it up because there's some secret killers out there hanging out in ranked play that if they make their way into a tournament, they might be a spoiler in a big way.
Yeah, the amount of players that are getting picked up by teams is actually pretty high right now, which is interesting because you look at it and like you have to assume there's a lot of unknown, amazing players out there, but a lot of them are getting picked up. Yep. Orange is a good example of that, where he went from not really being that well known outside of a specific subset of the grinder population to Xixo, right, getting picked by Team Archon as well. All of these players really often qualify multiple times to various events, but they don't make a big splash until somebody, whispers about them to team captains sometimes who notice the effort and the consistency of those players. They're part of a practice group very often. They'll make their way into teams, and this will happen more and more as time passes.
Yeah, and that's one of those things with a large open format sort of tournaments. You can really run into some big names early on, or you could just run into a series of bad draws. I mean, we're talking about cards here. Some of the best poker players in the world go out early rounds in major tournaments just because, you have a bad day, and that's the end of a tournament for you. But we'll see here as we get into game one, Trump versus Orange.
All right, so Trump versus Orange. Orange playing a Hunter deck. It seems to me like this is going to be a face Hunter. Wolf Rider, well, I wouldn't say is a dead giveaway because it has been played in some variants. The hybrid Hunters, right? There's two broad archetypes. You've got the face Hunter, which just, goes face, and mid-range, who plays Savannah high mains in a bit of a slower style. But the hybrid Hunter is a bit of an in-between, where you cut some of the slower cards. You play the high mains, but you cut some other slower cards just to put in more face damage. To speed up the play against other mid-range hunters.
It's like, yeah, we got a bug over on Trump's side. It's in the works, guys. I've been on the phone with Blizzard personally.
I wonder if Trump is playing Handlock, though. It's a deck that he's played a ton of, and I have to assume, well, there it is. I have to assume it is.
Twilight Drake's at Thor's hand?
It could be Dragon Lock. It could be Dragon Warlock. Have you had much experience with that deck?
I've started to see it a little bit more, and I like it. I'll tell you that. I mean, I'm a big fan of Twilight Drakes, the Azure Drakes. I like the utility. But no, not as much as I should have, I'll say.
Well, I have to assume now it's not Malilok. Malagos Warlock does not put Ancient Watchers in its lineup unless Trump decided to bring a special brew of that.
He's teaching us he's going to put on a clinic today, and how Ancient Watcher changes the whole metagame.
The Ancient Watcher is one of those cards. Like, I love the card just because conceptually you look at it and it looks like complete nothing. When you're a new player and you're like, what is that garbage? And then somebody taunts it up, you're like, and then he Shadow Flames it, and then suddenly everything starts to make sense. For newer players, those cards are really awesome. And it's fun that they're actually a part of one of the best archetypes. Handlocked, it's been around since the very release of the game, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that really starts to teach you those fundamentals of card interactions and how you should be thinking about those things. Where, and I forget who it was that was talking about this just a little while ago. It's one of those things that it uncovers itself in layers where things that don't necessarily. I think it was Dustin Browder maybe was given an interview. Or maybe it was Ben Brode was given an interview where he was talking about how those things that don't look good at first, they're crap, like Wisp, say, but then
Hobgoblin value.
People find a reason to pull the Wisp out.
Yeah. All right, well, Orange with a really sickening board. Trump cannot AoE it down because the Creepers will just come back, and the 1/1s will just lose the Divine Shield, which is not a big deal. So he's going to have to try to stop the bleeding, but Orange can press on. He's got the Owl to kill that Drake, so not a huge amount of tempo for Trump off that Twilight Drake.
Yeah, definitely Orange here going big and quick, and looks like he's going to drop the silence on that Twilight Drake and bring it right back on down to size, leaving Trump a little bit of work to do, and just going to pop one of the Holy Shields. Oh!
So what does he need
here? Squires are rough. Yeah, I don't know. He needs something. I mean, it's low health cost on the board, but it's really going to start stacking up here if he doesn't get rid of it real quick.
It's funny because Just Saying is playing a Miracle, not a Miracle Rogue, a Rogue list, Tinker's Sharp Sword Oil Rogue with Scarlet Crusaders, which attests, I guess, to a lot of the pros' opinions about the value of Divine Shield at the moment. They're really tough to remove. Like, I mean, they make Warrior's life really hard.
It does. I mean, it forces that absolutely worthless trade. He's going to get a Glaive Zuka to throw on top of it.
Oh,
and
that's
Trump,
the game. That is, wait,
yeah,
he can't miss lethal. Okay,
He's
I thought he was going to miss it.
Yeah, he kind of hovered for a second there, but looks like he's just going to roll it on down. And Trump, Trump with the grimmest head shake combo as it gets wrapped up in turn 5 there.
The Grim Trumptron, new deck.
Yeah.
There we go. So it seems like Orange is going to be taking the first game. That was absolutely quick, as you sometimes have to expect. In order for Handlock to win this matchup, you have to find the Moltons, you have to find the Taunters, and you have to find the Healbots and the Farseers, none of which Trump had at the moment, which, I mean, what can you do? Like,
it's a rough sit. I mean, it's a hell weight, man. You're just sitting there stewing in it, and you're just like, come on, next card, nothing. Great, okay. I'll just watch my health dwindle over the course of 2-3 turns. And we'll say GG, and then I'll play a real game next time, hopefully, and get the cards I need.
So Orange going to be playing Warrior, probably Grim Patron Warrior against Handlock, which is notably, like, it's known for its ability to counter Patron very effectively. So Trump, if he plays his cards well, and if Orange doesn't get a massive Frothing Berserker, could get the win. It's very, very strong, and I think Trump knows it, and that's probably the reason he brought it and did not ban Orange's Warrior.
Got a couple of giants in the deck, which I always love to see. I'm just a big fan of the giants, the mechanics that go into those cards. They make me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. There goes a patron for orange. He's going to armor up and send it on back over to Trump.
All right, so Trump life tapping his way to a hopeful giant or Drake in the next few turns. Otherwise, it's going to be a very slow start for him. And even though it's a favored matchup, you still want to put down something.
Picks up the whirlwind, yeah, and it's just nobody wants to play anything. Nobody wants to be the first one onto the board there. Trump going to be grabbing up his Jiraxis anti-Keel bot and thinking about what to do. As his hand is getting pretty full there. Yeah.
If he taps, he's going to be on 10, and he's going to have to coin his Sunfury Protector. So he's thinking whether or not it's worth it just to improve the hand quality. Because very often, handlock players can afford to tap and throw away the coin just to improve the quality of what they've got in their hand. Because if you don't find those big tempo swing cards in the mid-game, very often it's just it can be very difficult because you can't guarantee them. So life tapping is very, very important for Trump. Although he has a lot of healing. He could take his time, I guess, and tank some damage.
Absolutely, and I mean, Orange got a lot of. He's got some good setup to deal with, any sort of light work boards that Trump might throw out here in the next couple of turns. But
Execute
we'll see what he ends
so
up doing. He's waiting on it.
For Warriors, Execute is really crucial. And what's really interesting, at least for Trump, is that at least Orange's game plan doesn't involve rushing the board on turn 4. Like, even if he doesn't tap and he just passes, it's all right. I wonder if he disconnected.
Did nothing. I mean, he's still reacting as though he's in the game. But yeah, that was just a null turn there. He did absolutely nothing. Back over to Orange, who's going to end up
start
with
punching
Death
face.
Bite, and I mean 4 armor sitting there. So he's plenty beefy to get the work done, and I mean, weird there. It didn't a no turn. Going to fill the hand up there with Zombie Chow. Probably not the happiest card in the world to see, but he skips the tap, so he's going to hold on to a little extra life, I guess. Silver lining there for Trump, just sitting through it. I don't know. Maybe he's joined multiple games, and he was playing a different game on the other one.
The interesting thing is that most of the most important cards in Trump's deck to handle Grim Patron Warrior, they involve Hellfire. Twilight Drake to counter some of the early game, force the executes with the Giants. This is a very slow start for a handlock, even against a favored matchup, because all it takes is one amazing turn for the... if Orange here has the read that his opponent has nothing, which he can't possibly have that read, he's got to be afraid of Hellfire. He could play Patron in a rage and just, try to trigger some more Patron on the following turn. It's an all-in play. If he knew what Trump blanked on, Orange could be greedy. But being that, obviously he doesn't have that read, he's going to have to take it very slowly.
Yeah, I mean, that's a hard one. It's a hard one to make a call on. He just sends a nothing turn your way. You just got to be looking at that like,
He has to have Hellfire, at the very least. He's got no Drakes, no Mountain Giants. He at least has Hellfire. So if I throw the Patrons, they're going to be dying.
Drop Loot Hoarder, armor up, and send it back over. And we'll see what Trump does. He gets an Iron Beak Owl, which will...
do nothing, so that's great.
Yeah, for right now. Look pretty in the deck, and you can go hoo-hoo in your brain, which is always fun. Who's gonna
Orange
heal
just,
it up?
If you're heal botting for 4 health here, and you're a handlock player, you are sitting on some really weird hand, is what Orange is thinking.
What's your read off of anti-Keelbot for 4 when there's not a lot of threat out from Orange? I mean, it's almost preemptive.
And, Orange is going to be able to get himself that Emperor Thorson if he wants it. Alternatively, he could play Gnomish. It's all about whether or not he wants to wait for the War Song Commander or the Frothing Berserkers to get that Emperor. Because the best win condition you get against a handlock is a big Frothing Berserker. Because Patrons can be handled, right? They don't hit the face for too much. A massive Frothing, like right now, that he can get with Inner Rage, Whirlwind, that is enough to kill a handlock player in 1 turn.
Sludge Belcher for Trump. He can throw that out there and buy a little more time unless he's finally decided on a course of action here. Looks like he's gonna... Nope, not gonna send the heal bot over. I gotta say, I'm wondering what's going through Trump's mind now. I've never in my life wondered more. Because normally he's just such readable expressions on Trump that
you play Sylvanas, I think, to force the pop at least of the what's the name of it? The Death's Bite?
Yeah.
I don't even
And,
dislike that. I mean, when do you play Sylvanas otherwise against Patron Warrior? Pretty much never. Well, like you could play Belcher, but it's not defensive. Next turn, there can't be a Warsong Commander Grim Patron, so Belcher could be played now to prevent the slime from popping it. Sylvanas is otherwise very unlikely to get you any value in a matchup like this. Like, there's very few times where you're going to be able to use her, unless you wait for Shadow Flame, where you're very often anyway not stealing a minion.
Trump really just stuck for his options here. He's going to end up dropping Sylvanas. We'll see how that plays out here as it's going to go over to Orange. He's going to tick that armor back down to 1, go to face with the heal bot. And loot hoarder friends abound as Orange pulls another.
I would be happy, I think, to trade away my 2 minions into Sylvanas and then kill it with the weapon and then drop Emperor Thorson. I mean, double Whirlwind, 1 Frothing. That means if you find Warsong Commander with the other Frothing, you still get the full sequence. And that on its own is compelling enough.
Yeah, I mean, if Thorsan comes down here, I mean, he's just getting excellent value for it. And the way Trump's been playing that, I mean, it's one of those situations where if you're Orange, maybe what you're thinking here is, I really don't want to overplay if I'm playing into something that's ruining my whole deck. So, I mean, good on him to hold on to it till now, but I'm with you there. I think the Thorsan's going to be good value. He's going to get the Loot Hoarder out, and looks like...
For card draw, though, he wants to cycle it as much as possible, but...
Yeah, I think he's just wanting more information from Trump, and Trump has really got nothing to give him.
So Orange here is going to give either the Armor Smith or the Gnomish Inventor to his opponent. Orange, yeah, giving it to Trump. It's either or. This Loot Hoarder is not going anywhere. And the Loot Hoarder...
Oh, he's going to get
dies. What does he find? Another Armor
Pulls
Smith.
Armor Smith. So still sitting in a comfortable position if you're Orange. Trump going to pull Mortal Coil.
Not a bad card to find in this position, because you can always just kill that Armor Smith right up and then play an anti-heal bot. The fun thing is that you would think that healing matters a lot against Patron, but a well-played Patron can always just burst you down with Frothings. The strength of Handlock is the fact that they taunt up way more than Patrons can handle, and I think... Now that the Drake is out and there's 2 Giants left, this is where the Handlock will start to pick up speed.
Absolutely. And Trump, I mean, but given the time here, like you mentioned earlier, you know, it's really on Orange here to make that call that he's going to really have to slow roll this entire hand. Orange, I mean, couldn't pull the trigger on it, and who could blame him? But now maybe Trump going to get things rolling. We'll see. He's going to get that full-size Twilight Drake. Not going to get the fun size.
Fun size Twilight Drake. You remember the old 1/1 Twilight Drake? Were you playing back then? Because that was amazing.
Yeah, that was...
like, oh, I top deck Twilight Drake, I have no hand. That's great. Let's play 4 mana for a Wisp. That sounds very good. God, I love those moments. And Orange is not happy. No execute in sight. But he could start drawing next turn with the Acolyte of Pain. I mean, I don't think you develop it just yet, do you?
And it looks like he's going to drop Armor Smith and then take a Powder.
I like this play. The only thing it's weak to is like a Defend of Argus, and if it is, then you can always execute the Drake. The good thing is that if the Drake kills the Armor Smith, then it's on 5 health, so your Death Bite can take it out.
Dr. Boom, a comfy little pickup there for Trump, and 5 armor sitting on Orange. So yeah, just keep it smooth, you know, like Molson Ice. I mean, that was special for you. That's special for the Canadians in the house.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't drink beer. I should probably, maybe I should know more about beer. I should get more information about it.
Nah, no, that's a waste of time.
When you got a U.S. guy knowing more about your Canadian beer, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah, and I don't even drink at all, so...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I have no clue what you're talking about, man. Scotch whiskey, hit me. Alright, so Dr. Boom here falling down. I think if Trump... Like, Trump has no execute, so right now, this is a bit of an annoyance for him. Double Acolyte. That is quite a play. Does he play Acolyte? Double Acolyte?
Yes!
I have to assume he does. This is too good not to, because you're likely to find at least an execute from those 2 Acolytes, the Boom bots hitting them. You can then kill Dr. Boom, set up an absolutely sick Emperor Thorson. Orange is going to be in an amazing spot after this, if he doesn't overdraw, of course.
Picks up Grommash.
Down goes the Acolyte. Still doesn't find an execute. Oh, man. No execute for
There's
Orange.
the Grim Patron.
Oh,
He's
wow.
got both Grim Patrons pulled now, and Orange just not getting the pulls that he wants.
You know, I think...
need to get some out of there.
Orange has to find at least the next... He's trying one more card. Will it be good? Oh, he's picked up something decent at least, though. He's got to sacrifice that If he sacrifices Inner Rage, does he still get a kill with the free whirlwinds if he's getting another frothing? I would have to assume so. Because if he plays Emperor Thorson, those whirlwinds go down to 0, so that's going to allow him to get a really nice few turns.
Yeah, those have been sitting in there for a bit, and that's what I was looking at, thinking, man, it'd be a good time to drop him, and he's held on to it. And, I mean, he's going to do even better now. I mean, you got Grommash in the hand, both your patrons out, so I mean, it's going to really give him good value once he can find a spot to get it down. Trump here just going to go to face with Dr. Boom before he makes any commitments. He's got his Dark Bomb in there, any old time he wants to use it, and it's finally Sludgay Belcher's time to shine.
And he taps again. Oh wow, that is pretty much useless unless Fiery War Axe comes out at this point. He Dark Bombs the face because, you know, I've got 10 cards. Again, Trump this game just getting filled up with cards he just has no use for. And
It's
there's
his
the execute.
Little nod out of Orange, little subtle one.
You know what? Orange here pretty happy to find the execute because that's exactly the turn he wants to play Emperor Thorson on with a completely full hand.
Yeah, I'm just going to throw all that down into super affordable range for the future.
You know what, though? There's an argument to be made for not doing this because you might want to go through the Belcher with your Frothing Berserker. He thought there for a split second, do I want to keep this to go through a taunt? Or do I want to keep this to stay alive?
He's going to get Sun Fury Protector.
Yeah, Trump is possibly just going to hide behind this wall of minions eventually.
Posed up beautifully. We'll see what he runs. But yeah, I mean, he's been sitting at high life for a while, which means his Giants are going to have to hang out for a bit. Going to go ahead and send Siphon Soul over. Good heals, man. It's keeping Trump in this, and the time has been friendly to him. Like Orange's early game, just, you know, being mystified by what exactly Trump's got going on over there has really bought Trump a lot of time to put together a nice looking hand. To say nothing of Orange's, who's got he's in a pretty solid situation himself.
Orange has a really good hand. The problem is going through to kill the enemy is the issue. Is how exactly do you go and do this? Like if you play all your Grim Patrons here, your opponent has tapped about 25,000 times. So if you do that, you're going to have to hope that everything lines up. So a patron play with a frothing play is probably the best way for him to max out the amount of damage the frothing can do. It's like the only real way to do that for him at the moment. Fiery War Axe helping a lot.
And luckily, every single time it seems if you're in a game on ladder, that Fiery War Axe is going to come right after the Acidic Swamp just comes out.
But it's a really good board here. Like, I mean, Orange can double Whirlwind to clear these 2 minions and then spawn as many patrons as he wants. Essentially, that slime is just forfeit. Goodbye, slime. How much damage is that going to be? You know, I can't do math. And I don't think Orange is calculating. I think he's just going with it.
Oh, yeah, that's... Okay, so it's going to be 12, 15...
He's got a
million damage I landed on there after throwing it into my tip calculator.
Orange is probably panicking with the rope here. I'm panicking and I'm not even playing this. I'm not even playing this, and the rope is gonna hit for Orange.
No.
The Sludge Belcher. Has he already queued up his actions? I don't think so. He's at least got to attack with...
No, look at his face. He didn't get it.
He had lethal, but now he can't get it.
He didn't get it. Hellfire's in the hand.
He had lethal.
Trump is laughing. Orange is in full despair.
So either Trump concedes to be a good guy, or he says, you know what, those rules, they kind of favor me, and I'm just going to taunt up my Molten Giant.
I don't think the look on Trump's face said, I'm conceding.
Yeah.
He is
That's
not.
definitely a double Giant Protector turn, and Orange missing lethal. Not Orange, you know, because he did, just kind of
he's
because
going to attach a very long boot to his leg and walk around kicking himself for a while after that. Mountain Giant comes out, Molten Giant going to follow it.
You know what I realized
the Sun
now?
Fury Protector to ruin Orange's day.
I have a golden Dormu. It's been waiting for this moment for quite a while now.
That's the meta, man. And he's gonna concede. Trump wins it with the rope.
Oh man, down goes Vinruki here. Oh man, Orange is doing I mean he
the grinder done in.
Do you know how many games were lost on the back? And the worst part is he didn't wait that long to pull off the play, right?
Really
he thought a little bit, and then
he had a lot
to
do. I mean, let's blame the patron for that one. Slow patrons cost
And the
him
Belcher
game.
doesn't help either. I mean, the Belcher takes
No.
forever to spawn the slime, so the patron also just joins in. They all get in here to slow down the rope. And, you know, a lot of people do complain about that. In tournaments, it's happened quite often.
Go start
Let's say
the forum
Life Coach.
posts. Yeah.
Life Coach has lost, I think, more games than anyone on the rope. And there's been an incident. I forget who the player was who was playing against. What's his name? Lothar. The player just raged straight up, like punched the keyboard or something through the mouse.
I mean, what do you, that's, I know we were talking, I was talking about not really going on tilt. That would do it though. That situation right there would put, it wouldn't be anything a player did. It would be that rope and the lag on the patrons and the slime.
So should we call on animations not counting towards the end of the turn? Because they did lower the rope time in beta from like 90 seconds to 70. So is it time that we stop counting animations for real? Because the patrons are crazy.
That's, I mean, yeah, that was a game for Orange right there. I mean, you can chalk that up to one win for Blizzard, really. Because, I mean, that game was done. That game was all the way over. And Orange had nothing to do but sit there and watch animations play. And one of them's a taunt, so it's not like he can, you know, queue up going to face. He has to queue up killing the taunt first.
Yep. It's not going to let you just drag the minions preemptively. Usually you can, right? But now the Belcher's waiting. And I think maybe the best way to do it would be to have all the animations happen simultaneously instead of queue them up.
That's always been my thought, is it feels a little weird. And honestly, when you're sitting in a situation like a patron situation, you're just like, okay, come on. Let's just
get
everybody out on the field.
I think for that reason, you have to practice your APM. You know, you play those decks. All right.
I mean, that's rough. Orange going to stick with it. Hopefully he doesn't end up on tilt. And you know what I got to say, too? You know there's going to be that discussion on Reddit anywhere about whether Trump should have done the quote-unquote right thing and concede there. No way, man. It's not on him.
It's been done before, but not by Trump. Trump is a player who will play by the rules, but as soon as they go his way, I mean, he's going to take it, obviously.
And hey, that's competitive play, man. Like, that's well within his rights there to hold on to that one. It's, you know, Orange, if he'd moved a little, if he'd thought, how killer is that? If you'd thought a second and a half less, you got the game locked down and you put the 2-0 on the board.
All right, so Orange's Warrior this time versus Trump's Hunter. So we're going to be seeing the an interesting matchup here. I'd say usually against mid-range Hunter, Patron Warrior will win most of the time, but not by a huge margin. So mid-range Hunter can steal it. I mean, it's very possible that he can do it against Patron. It's about like maybe like 35, 65, perhaps, I think, for the Hunter. It's a class that can take wins very easily, but that starts with the Armorsmith. Pretty tough for Trump.
Spinner on the board. Gonna throw that one into the Armorsmith. Lotheb sitting in the hand for Trump is his draw. And Trump taking his time again. He's not been in a rush.
Unlike his opponent, he's been perfectly comfortable waiting.
Let a turn just roll on through there in the last game.
So Trump's new nickname is Life Coach Junior. There's the two players who take the most time, you know? Like, I've actually thought to myself, if Life Coach and Trump have a showdown, whoever brings in his Dormu takes the series. You can sprinkle it in every single of your decks.
I want to legitimately, because, I mean, I just want to see Nozdormu come out. Because what a crazy limitation to implement. I mean, because there are some crazy fast players out there. Death Star V3 is pretty quick.
Death Star V3 is crazy fast. Dog is really quick as well. Like
Dog. I mean, so you get some guys that play really, really quickly. Like, they've got the whole thing planned out. They're, you know, whatever it is about their play style just makes them quick. I mean, you throw Nozdormu in there, you run up against somebody like Trump or Life Coach, and
Life Coach had to face one of them. I remember from Scene's old Shredder, Nozdormu came out. Life Coach misplayed for 3 turns straight, and then decided to just misplay to kill it as fast as possible. That was the most hilarious thing.
I mean, that's mind game. Like, forget metagame. That is straight into your brain. That's like, you better learn to think real fast, because you know, that's what you got. Gonna get a couple of juggles here, and bonk.
They're pretty good, actually. Those are pretty good juggles.
Loot Hoarder out for Orange. And in a rage. Man, that was I'm still feel so bad for Orange.
I didn't even notice. Trump picked up the Beast, like the Beast.
Oh yeah.
Not a Beast.
The very one.
Yeah.
The blade be thirsty.
The very Beast. Yeah.
Frothing Berserker on the field, and then a Rage going to come out.
So this is saying to Trump, if you don't have Eagle Horn Bow or Iron Beak Owl, you're about to take some serious damage. Never mind, Quick Shot was picked up. You know, that's the other card I didn't think about. That
yeah,
can
Quick
also
Shot
solve the
in the hand. Seeing that a little bit more regularly in the Hunter decks here in this tournament, at least. I think just about everybody's been running it.
Yeah, what I like is Blizzard's decision to give that to Hunter because it really gives, you know, like it really fits into the Hunter archetype where you already see that half your player base is playing Face Hunter. You can give them an extra tool to really, you know, put misery over everyone else in the ladder.
Gonna send one of his little spider friends in and get himself out of trouble. Back over to Orange, who's going to pull his first patron. I think.
How much do you like Dread Corsair over Loot Hoarder Cruel Task? Actually, do you play Cruel Task? I assume you have to kill it 1/1, otherwise it trades up until you're Hoarder. All right, makes a lot of sense.
Looks like it's gonna, it's gonna just stop that from being a problem. Mad Scientist number 2 out for Trump as Orange makes a hard call.
So I'm curious to see what Orange's traps are because recently Freezing, Explosive, and Snake have been played in just about all sorts of variants of Hunter, and that's really been interesting. Orange hasn't picked up the weapon yet, so dealing with this Lothab is going to be a bit tricky for him.
He's going to get his Battle Rage. Obviously going to be well too expensive there, and just going to go right into face. Check that trap. It's Explosive Trap. So
doesn't he wish he'd played the Patron on this one?
Frothing Berserker going to be the pull, and he will not get any free patrons. It's a sad day. It's a sad day when you don't get him for free like that. Hovers over the Corsair. Yeah, it looks like he's going to send that bad boy out to hang out with Lothab on the field and send it back over to Trump.
Is Trump going to play the Beast here? You have to assume he is, right? At 9 damage a pop. What's the risk? Execute?
Yeah, I guess, but I mean...
How is that a really big risk when you consider the potential upsides? Like, do you have to delay it 1 turn to make sure you've got what it takes to deal with the 3/3 in case it dies?
Yeah, I mean, it acts as like a really nice, well-timed spoil. I mean, he's not going to end up throwing it out. He's going to Mad Scientist, Piloted Shredder, Whirlwind for Orange on the other side. But I mean, what a great early game, huge pressure. Not early game, but you know, slide into the mid game, sort of huge pressure he could have thrown on. But yeah, hey. When you take the beast, you gotta unleash the beast. Am I right? I mean, it feels right. And he pulled Execute, so hey, Trump doesn't know it, but he made the right call there. And seeing Execute's gonna let him know, hey, I did make the right call.
And not only did you make the right call, but now you can play the beast and really put your opponent out of his misery very soon. Okay, you know what? There might be an argument for the Jaime instead. It's low risk. It has pretty much, you know, the same effect. It's unremovable, and Orange is gonna be very hard pressed to handle this board.
Acolyte of Pain gonna be the draw. As Orange thinks, hopefully, real hard about what he's going to have to do here. Because, I mean, you got 12 on board now. Every single one of them with a nice death rattle. That.
How fine do you think Frothing Acolyte Whirlwind is? It's very slow. It draws you a card, buffs up the Frothing Berserker to force the opponent to trade with it. And then next turn you can go Warsong Commander Patron and start getting some value, hopefully. It's just really tricky.
Sounds like a solid play. I mean, again, and he's still got the beast sitting in his hand. So Trump, I mean, it's definitely going to buy him some time. It's going to get some of these high damage boys off the board.
Oh man, he's doing it. Acolyte Whirlwind with Warsong, draw 2 cards, kill the Mad Scientist, possibly find an Execute for the next turn, or not.
And he's into rope again.
Oh, that rope. All right, he's gonna go for the Frothing Acolyte. And down they go. These guys will have to do a bit of work because right now...
I see that rope when it's Argus. I immediately started sweating. Animal Companion out. And he's going to get Misha.
What if Orange plays Brawl in that Patron deck? Oh, like, man. Just somehow it's in there. Like, it makes no sense in their Patron deck. Somehow.
You know, maybe that's new meta, though. Maybe he's going to trot it out for us to show us how it's supposed to be. Trump trying to decide what to do here. He's got Kill Command sitting around. He's got plenty of damage to throw wherever he wants it. Again, with the taunt out, Berserker's just a non-issue at the moment, so it looks like he's sending all 12 of it straight into Orange's face, down to 15.
Yeah, could get another 5 in if
and the steady shot
set up for lethal, but he doesn't have to. He's probably going to have a beast by the next turn. Worst case scenario, you play your actual beast and get it done.
Yep.
No. Orange can play the Patron. He can play the Patron with Warsong Commander. Patron, you attack into Misha with the Acolyte, then you can finish her off with the Frauding. I don't think he can actually afford it, unfortunately, for him. It feels almost suicidal to do so.
It's a tight position to be in, and he's going to hover War Song. I mean, what do you do otherwise? You just sit back and wait for death, I guess. But it's 1-1. Again, no best of fives here, best of three with that one ban. So, going to whirlwind it out. And see what he can do. Going to grab another Grim Patron. And no money for that. Just waiting for rope again. Oh, God.
He's going to be fine. I think he'll be fine on this one at the very least. So he's going to just stack up a lot of armor, at least as much as he possibly can. He's going to be able to battle rage. Well, it's worth a little bit to sacrifice perhaps the 2 armor you would otherwise get from, you know, armoring up. And, you know, just turn that into card draw instead. He finds the explosive. Nope, doesn't find that. Freezing it is.
Going to send the Armor Smith back in, which will, you know, not a bad way to end up. Grabs himself a couple of weapons and a Gnomish Inventor. And it's going to be Knife Juggler for Trump, who's got 10 on the board, but he's looking at 19 to finish the job. Knife Juggler going to be the drop. Trade in, see what he gets. Nothing. Murlocs, man, they're the worst beast finally coming out. And there he goes.
Does Orange have anything to handle this? He's got one card draw with the Gnomish. He's going to have to fetch for it. Nothing else he finds. And I don't even know a single card could save him. I'm thinking about it, and I really can't think of a single one.
Nothing doing right now is 7 health, a lot to chew through.
Orange actually just got reverse sweeped by Trump due to a rope problem.
Due to a rope. He had a Trump 2-0 on the ropes, you might say. The rope. I mean, how depressed are you if you're Orange? You're looking at this board. You know you don't really have a lot. He's going to try to draw out. It's Warsong Commander.
That's a very... You know what I think the proper play is? You smash yourself with that beast, and then you say, well played.
Yeah, there you go. Throw a weapon on.
Doesn't even...
Yeah, he's just not gonna go fall on the sword there. Just gonna do it the classy way. Orange, I mean, have you ever seen a sadder looking expression as the webcams go away?
No.
Oh, somebody send him a conciliatory fruit basket or something.
Now, that's got to feel horrible. I mean, it's happened in the past to players. He's not the first to which this happened, but we can add him to the list of players that get roped and lose the game. And somebody, you know, a few people actually say that, and have said that in the past, when this happened live on stream, in a Patron deck, because that's always where it happens, is the only reason Grim Patron is balanced is because the math is so hard to do, and because the animations take so long. If you change those variables,
you could nerf coming real quick.
Yeah, you know, right? That's basically it. They're gonna just reduce the turn timer to 30 seconds. Everybody's playing Zoo and Face Hunter.
Those orcs will betray you, though, man. That's what that's been the lore.
Yep.
Orcs will turn their back on you.
So that's going to be match for Trump here, 2-1 over Orange. Little unfortunate for Orange after, as we said, the first game. We're going to be back after a short break. Before we go, I'd like to give a shout out to Vulcun, the guys behind the tournament, basically, and Squarespace, who are, you know, a website building websites. If you want to build a website without knowing anything about coding, get a really sleek looking website, check them out. Squarespace.com. You can go on to /Deckmasters to check them out. Also, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.